changing surah, it's advised that everybody reads a translation of Surah Al-Hujurat to really understand what are true akhlaq and what is the Quranic commandment of becoming a better person. And I just want to focus on one particular verse. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا اجْتَنِبُوا كَثِيرًا مِنَ الظَّنِّ إِنَّ بَعْضَ الظَّنِّ إِثْمٌ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, O you who believe, meaning, if you claim to be a Muslim, if you claim to have iman, listen carefully. You don't have the choice of listening or not listening. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. If you're a mu'min, if you have an iota of faith, listen to my advice. What is the advice? Ijtanibu kathiran min adh-dhann inna ba'da adh-dhanni ithm. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, avoid assumptions, because sometimes even an assumption is sinful. What does this mean? An assumption means without any evidence, without any grounds, when I see something, I concoct a story in my mind. To give you a story, for instance, I was speaking to an imam some time back in New York, and he told me that one day his brother came to visit him from North Carolina. But his brother had 5 or 6 children, so he needed to rent out a big van. So he said, my brother was going to arrive at nighttime, and I had to go lead Dhuhr Salah, so I went to the Masjid, but early morning I had already rented out the van. I rented out the van and I went to pray Salah. It was a brand new van, I believe it was 2016 at the time. So 2016, brand new 7-seater van he brought in. Now he leads Salah, and he himself, he only has 2 kids. So he says that I just parked the car and I didn't even leave. And he says the musallis already started whispering and started rumors. Imam Sahib has 2 kids. Why does he have a 7-seater? Imam Sahib has a normal imam job. How does he afford a brand new car? Imam Sahib, mashallah, he just went on Umrah the other day, last year. How is he buying a car now? Where is he getting the saving? He says that, subhanallah, a person came up to me literally afterwards. He texted me, he says, Imam Sahib, subhanallah, mashallah, mabruk, may Allah bless you. He says, we were just speaking about your car and that, are you expecting another child? And he's like, Ya Rabb, I just went to rent out a car to pick up my brother later on at Maghrib time, and all the rumors already began. Inna ba'da dhanni ithm. Nobody even asked, like, Imam Sahib, I just, this thought came to my mind. I'm curious, is this a new car? Are you going? In fact, we shouldn't even be that nosy. Maybe the next day your question will be answered. He said the next day I drove back in my Toyota Camry. Mashallah, they say Imam Sahibs always have Toyota Camrys. It's like Toyotas get the best business from Imams. So he drove his Toyota Camry inside the next day, and he says half of the people had no more questions. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu ijtanibu kathiran min adh-dhann. Don't even let the assumption begin, because once that seed gets into your mind, it starts to germinate, and then it festers up, and all of a sudden stories begin. Inshallah, this week, over the next few khatiras, we'll try to talk a little bit about assumptions, because sometimes assumptions are good. Don't get me wrong, all assumptions aren't bad. Let's say, for instance, it's 12 o'clock at night, or 11 o'clock at night, and very late, I have to go to Walmart, do some shopping. There's no cars in the parking lot. I park my car, and I see a group of people covered up with their hands in the pocket, and they're coming to my car. Assumptions would tell me that, you know what, maybe it's not safe, let me drive out. That's a good assumption. Out of some evidence, I harbor some assumptions, that's fine. But just because I see something and all of a sudden I make a novel in my head about the story, that, oh, maybe because of this, and he got a car because of that, and he's doing this because of that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Inna ba'da dhanni ithm. Sometimes even the assumption is sinful, because your assumption is going to lead to much worse things. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala clean our hearts and our minds, and allow us to have husn al-dhan with our brothers and sisters. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Jazakumullahu khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.